I'm gonna say yes. Oh yeah. We had a lot of fun with the Hobby King jets from TIMO on the channel. Now we thought we would try Hobby King directly. And they're not shy about it either. They put Hobby King all over the plane. This is the Hobby King Viper 64. Now at first glance you think, okay, I've seen Vipers, I've seen 64 millimeters. What's new? Well, the price is amazing on this. Right now, this is under $200, right around $180 for plug and play. And believe it or not, this is a 64 millimeter EDF that is 6S capable. Yes, I said that right. 6S right out of the box, but it comes with a little bit of a catch, and I'm going to talk about that. The landing gear are spring loaded, so they should be nice and forgiving. When you have a fast jet, it does tend to bounce down the runway, so I'm excited to see how these will actually absorb that bounce. Also, we do have flaps, so that will help slow things down a bit. We have split elevator controls back here, rudder of course, and steerable nose wheel with ailerons. I'm excited to see, feel, and hear the power of 6S on this, but before we jump to the skies, you guys really need to check out under the canopy on this because it is doing something completely different than most 6S jets. Now, my buddy Roger came over to help me wire this up. This actually comes with an XT60 plug, and it's nice long wire just like that, but it doesn't come with this. This is a series Y harness so that you can run two 3S batteries to get your 6S power. And yes, they recommend two 3S 2200 milliamp batteries. Now, I think the reason they're doing this is for cost effectiveness. Two of these is way cheaper than most 6S batteries. Personally, I think I'd have rather seen them just put a 6S capable plug in there, but we're going with what they recommended. So when you buy this, we have it linked in the description box below, you need to also pick up an XT60 series Y harness for your batteries. We'll link one of those down there too.
Put your sunshade on before you do anything.
Oh, there we go. Now I can see it. Six beeps. Let's go. Guys, the 6S EDF that's on two 3S batteries under $200 is kind of insane. Now I'm very happy that we have almost no winds today, so I get to take off whichever direction I want. Leave us a like for getting Hobby King on the channel, and let's go. Here we go. Maiden flight. A little nervous. Nah, it's flying great. And actually, it sounds really good. It doesn't sound like a 64. I will shut up on this pass. Wow. This sounds surprisingly good, in my opinion. Now, I wish it had retracts, but for under 200 bucks, I cannot complain because we have rudder and flaps. Oh yeah, that's nice. So I am pretty positive this is my first thing plug and play ever that has needed a Y harness to take advantage of smaller, cheaper batteries for a higher voltage flight on an airplane. We've seen things run ground vehicles all the time, but not a lot of things that fly need a Y harness for your batteries. I know there are some. My FT Tubby does, but that's flight test. It's totally different than plug and play kind of thing like this. Now I am expecting very short flight time because when we're running two 3S batteries in series, that affects our voltage but not our fuel tank. So we're flying on a 6S 2200 essentially here. Now what is good about that is my jet itself, this is very lightweight. I can't remember off the top of my head the actual weight, but I'm just going to go from that to a loop. Abby, you got to ask it.
Will it snap?
Let's build up that speed so we can try. I'm going to say yes. Oh yeah. Vipers inherently are great at snapping, and this one's so lightweight. I had a feeling. Let's check out spaceship mode too. I'll do it the other way though, because we do have a light breeze coming in. Poor Abby, her allergies are awful right now, and she is trying so hard to fight the sniffles. So thank you for that. So nose into the light breeze, and we'll go full on spaceship. Does it balloon? Oh, okay. My flaps must drop a little lower than the other because it gave me a lot of rock. So we're gonna kick flaps off and not use flaps. Woo-wee. I'm just not going to use flaps on this flight. I need to double check that. It visually looked okay, but I guarantee what happened was one dropped lower than the other. So maybe let's try a touch and go on this thing, because I do want to test out that landing gear, see how bouncy it is. Or not. I'm hoping for not, because it's spring loaded. I actually have shocks on there. Little skip down the runway. Oh yeah, it's pretty bouncy. My goodness. Okay, well that's not quite what I expected at all. I noticed it wasn't taxiing really well after that little skip of a runway landing. I've got a little bit of movement there, but also it's got some loose play too. So there's two set screws holding that in, but I didn't think that was hard at all. By the way, can you hear it? Yes? Listen. Okay, watch that flap. One flap. Which is why it jarred like it did in the air, because I only had one flap drop, so I was fighting that. I tested this at home. The flaps worked. All my control surfaces worked. I always do a control surface test at home. This worked before takeoff. Both of my flaps worked just fine. I think what happened was I dropped the flaps in flight, and that was enough to strip that little plastic cheap servo. Remember, this is a $180 jet, so I'm assuming they're using some fairly cheap servos, which is definitely unfortunate. Any company can make servo mistakes. We've seen it with FMS, we've seen it with E-Flight, we've seen motors blow up on the FMS Beaver. So, you know, these things can happen, but it's just unfortunate that this is literally the first thing from Hobby King's website directly and not through TIMO, and it's their like heavily branded 64mm EDF, and we've just got a stripped servo. Now it'll lock in place. Ooh, that's hot actually. That servo is burning up. It was flying great. It was a really fun jet. I would like to do a speed test or something on this, but I don't know if that's gonna happen just because that, right? So what an interesting maiden. I mean, that's what you're gonna get on the TheRcSaylors, is just facts, the truth, our real experience. And I was pretty pumped to share this with you guys. $180 6S EDF. That is absolutely insane. And again, it could just be a lemon because it flew great. The assembly wasn't too bad. I do think that this is a very strange thing. Just a bit of advice to Hobby King if they happen to be watching this. If you have a unique setup like this that requires a little Y harness, charge $5 more and send this with the plug-and-play airplane. If it were a kit, it'd be understandable that this wouldn't be included, but we had to go to extra lengths to make this happen in time for this video. I love the fact that you're trying to help people save money by using batteries that they already have. It flew great. The performance of the jet was absolutely amazing. But there's just a couple things, you know, like I said, the Y harness, include it in my opinion. Charge $5 more if you need to. I don't think the customer would complain at all about that. And then clearly we have a servo failure issue there. So that's just unfortunate, but of course we're going to share that when it happens. If you guys appreciate our videos, please leave a like on this and share it with your friends. Let me know in the comments below, do you own this jet, and did you have any kind of issues out of the box with yours or after the first flight or two? I'm guessing no, because flukes and lemons and oddities do happen. If you're interested in anything in our setup, from my transmitter to the batteries I'm flying on to my sunshade that I personally make out of our house with 3D printers, we'll have the printers and the sunshade linked in the description box below. All the good stuff. The jet, the batteries, our favorite smart batteries, our favorite off-brand batteries, they'll all be linked down there. Now, you just never know when you're gonna have a servo failure. It can last thousands of flights, or it could be on your maiden flight. And so that's why I'm glad to fly with AMA. It's insurance, the Academy of Model aeronautics. For those of us that fly RC planes, whether, you know, flap failure isn't that big of a deal, but if it were like an aileron or something that went out, I would lose control of that very quickly, and it could crash into anything up here. So I'm glad that I fly with the Academy of Model Aeronautics because, you know, just stuff happens. So we'll have them linked below too. I want to say massive thanks to God for blessing us with this beautiful day, low winds, to get out here and maiden this flight. Who knows, if it was a windier day, that may not have gone so well. So I'm thankful to God for life in general and just this day, this time that we get to share with you guys. Now, if you love 64mm EDFs and other jets, we have quite a few on the channel. We'll have a handpicked video popping up right about now just for you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you there.
Bye.